Jen confronts Blonsky about his appearance as Abomination in the Fight Club on the news. Blonsky insists on his innocence. He claims he was forced out of his cell, did not break out, as the news suggests, and returned to prison immediately after. He tells her that Wong brought him to the Fight Club. Nikki locates him and arranges for him to meet with Jen. Jen addresses the audience prior to the title sequence. According to news reports, Jen's portrayal of Blonsky has sparked a trending topic in the news and on social media. Jen enters her office and speaks with Nikki. Jen meets with Holloway, who assigns her to Dennis, a male attorney who resents Jen for her legal abilities, but even more so now that she has superpowers. He also introduces Dennis to Mallory Book, another associate in the Superhuman Law Division, but Dennis dismisses her right away, preferring to work with another male lawyer. Dennis is interested in hiring the firm for a personal reason. His superhuman ex-girlfriend, a shape-shifting light elf from New Asgard, stole a large sum of money from him and fled town under the guise of Megan Thee Stallion. Jen can't help but laugh at his folly in thinking he was dating her, even though he reminds her that it was a shapeshifter. Wong enters the office through a ring portal to meet with Jen. Holloway sends Jen off to her meeting and wishes Dennis well. Wong backs up the story, claiming that he needed a worthy opponent to become Sorcerer Supreme. Jen informs him that he will have to testify in court, which Wong agrees to. Dennis wraps up his conversation with Pug, who is researching the Light Elf on YouTube. Dennis walks back in and tells Pug that he wants to drop the entire case. Pug is on the phone when he notices Dennis' strange behavior and calls security. Pug walks out of the conference room and makes a smug remark before the real Pug summons the Light Elf, who transforms into her true form and informs him that this was a warning. As Jen enters the prison to meet with Blonsky, rumors circulate that she has been rejected by the Avengers. When Jen meets with Blonsky, 7 young women dressed in togas and tiaras enter a separate room. Blonsky's soulmates are 7 in number. Both are curious about Wong's whereabouts. Jen stumbles through her case to present Wong as a witness at the parole hearing. Blonsky accepts her offer to give his statement to the parole board. Blonsky expresses his feelings about his actions in a heartfelt way. Jen introduces the 7 soulmates who will financially support him if he is released from prison. More witnesses from the prison complex testify in favor of Blonsky. However, attention is drawn back to the prison break, at which point Wong appears through a portal to testify. He begins by asking if any of the judges have ever heard of a Cumite. In another courtroom, the judge rejects Runa, the Light Elf's motion to dismiss Dennis's fraud case against her. Unhappy that the case will go to trial, Runa switches to the judge and attempts to overturn the ruling, but her attorney reminds her that impersonating a judge is against the law. Runa steps back and flees the bailiff. Wong testifies in prison court that he forced Blonsky out of his cell and offered him asylum at the Camartage, but Blonsky insisted on returning to prison to finish out his sentence. Another question is raised about Blonsky's ability to transform into the Abomination, which he eagerly offers to share. Jen objects to the transformation, but he is transformed into the Abomination regardless. He retains his personality in Abomination form, despite the fact that only the 7 soulmates find his transformation appealing. Jen apologizes for the behavior, but acknowledges that it supports his claim that he has spent his time in prison peacefully and intends to return to freedom peacefully. The hearing is adjourned for the day by the judges. Wong is accused of breaking the law by rescuing Blonsky, and he flees through a portal. Jen meets Nikki and Pug at a bar, where Nikki encourages Jen to stick with the She-Hulk persona because it is making her popular. Jen is bothered by all of the protests directed at her when all she wants to do is do her job. Pug commiserates with the two about Dennis, whom they couldn't stand at the DA's office. Pug has Jen testify under oath because he realizes she can testify about Dennis's lack of knowledge about women. Jen claims Dennis is so delusory about women that he believes Runa is the real Megan Thee Stallion. The judge awards Dennis full restitution and sentences Runa to 60 days in jail for impersonating a judge. Megan Thee Stallion, but for real, is in the courtroom audience. Dennis suggests that Runa's powers be revoked as punishment, which sparks an idea in Jen. Blonsky is granted parole and is forbidden from ever again transforming into Abomination, requiring him to wear an inhibitor. She-Hulk appears on the evening news to discuss Blonsky's release, but the reporter is more interested in She-Hulk. Jen is attacked by a small gang of thugs, whom she defeats as She-Hulk. The thugs appeared to be after Jen's blood, but once she transformed, they couldn't pierce her skin. She-Hulk is picking up her papers when she notices her reflection in the car window.